All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dids in the Dugout. Once again, joined by my good buddy Hitch here. Here in a little bit, we're going to talk about the Memphis game on Tuesday night. Didn't exactly go the Rebels' way, obviously, and then we'll start diving into Arkansas. Really big series for the Rebels, try to get things back on track as Hitch brings a new chair in here to up the quality of this show for. So I appreciate you looking out there, Hitch. Before we get started, yeah. So
you asked me
just like each and every week,
and I said, "Yeah, man, I'm 100% ready." And right when you started talking, I was like, "Man, I meant to switch out these chairs." So I just thought I'd do it right there.
Was not ready. I mean, that's just kind of what it boils down to there. So, but just like each and every week, we're brought to y'all by Rhythm, the absolute best sports handicapping app out there. Y'all can go download it and have a 7-day free trial. The NCAA tournament's coming to an end here soon. It's into the Final Four. If you use the Rhythm, if you use your Rhythm models to build a bracket for you, hope that worked out for you. I've seen a lot of people online that use it seem to have a good bit of success. NBA still going on, and golf is still coming soon as well. So if you're a golf bettor, that'll be one more thing that you can use to help handicap golf for you. And actually saw the thing today. They said they're currently looking into adding Major League Baseball to the app as well, which I'll always be excited to get some baseball into anything. So that's something to look forward to. Hopefully they can get that figured out and get that released to us at some point. Nothing's been announced on that. Just something that I saw the Rhythm Twitter account put out there. So y'all go follow them on Twitter, join the Discord. They give out picks basically every single day. So you can see how good Rhythm's doing for not only them, but other users are really good about retweeting and posting other users' models and bets for the night that they put out for free as well. So y'all go give them a try. Go to the App Store, Google Play, type in Rhythm, RITHMM, sign up. Get a 7-day free trial, start building your own models, or have Rhythm use their AI-backed data to build models for you and start winning some money, because college football and NFL will be here before you know it. And you need to build a bankroll for that. So appreciate them being along for the ride here for, I don't even think I've told you that, Hitch. We've already eclipsed 50 episodes here on Dids in the Dugout. We're bearing down on 60 now. Yeah. Oh, so man. We're off and running here.
You're right. Yeah, I had no idea that it had been.
Yeah, I didn't hear until I went back and looked. So appreciate them being around for it, though. But let's go ahead and dive into this thing. We'll start with the Rebels Tuesday night dud that we had up in Memphis, Tennessee against the Tigers. Offense really didn't play that bad. We had 11 hits, and let me make sure I have this number right. 1, 4, 5. Yep, 7 doubles. And only score 4 runs there. The situational hitting obviously wasn't there. It kind of feels like we're too aggressive in some situations, and then not aggressive enough in other ones. And there just doesn't seem to be a lot of continuity and flow, I guess is the way I would put it, with this offense right now. You look up and, you only walk 3 times against a pitching staff that has really struggled, but at the same time, you pound out 7 doubles and 11 hits, but you only get 4 runs across there. And, that's obviously really disappointing with Memphis going with the bullpen game there on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much said it there. It felt like either we got a hit and then the next 3 guys got out, or the first 2 guys got out and then we got a hit, maybe ended up on second and couldn't get that guy in. So, I mean, we only left, we left 8 guys on base last night. So, that's got to improve, going into this weekend for sure.
Yeah, and
but we did have more positive. We did have exactly. You're going to the same place.
Yeah. I'm going right into it. A couple guys we've talked about for a little over a week on this show now: Judd Udermark and Trenton Lyons. Glad to see that Mike tuned in over the last week and heard our pitch to get those guys in the lineup. Udermark's playing out of his mind right now. Goes 3 for 4 with 2 doubles. I thought he played really well outside of getting caught stealing there at third. I had some people ask me, I kind of feel like Judd went on his own there. I think he thought he saw something off the pitcher and thought that he could make it. And look, if it wasn't for a really good throw, he would have made it to third. That was a really good throw by the catcher, put it right where it needed to be. But outside of that, Judd played really well, 3 for 4. Trenton Lyons, 1 for 3 with a walk. I don't know if you know this or not, Hitch. That walk came against his brother. He plays for Memphis. Do you know that?
No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah.
Jackson. What was his name?
Jackson, that's him.
That must have been his brother.
It was.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and then Trenton even gets a stolen base on the ledger too there as well on the night. So let's talk about Trenton for a little bit because I think it's important. We're searching for somebody defensively there behind the plate. We did have a couple pass balls I thought he should have gotten in front of. One of them, he got down, he blocked it, kept him in front of him when he was coming up. Just bad luck. Back foot catches the ball, rolls it away, and the guy's able to advance that way on it. Had a pretty inexcusable pass ball there in the 8th inning, I think it was. I think it was when Gunnar Dennis was in, if I have that correct from my memory. But anyway, what I was really impressed with, I thought Trenton was really good receiving the ball. It seems like he was able to steal more strikes for our pitchers than we've been able to get out of Birch and Smithwick so far this year. I thought he received it really well. Now, obviously, we've got to cut these pass balls out. But look, when you combined the receiving, which I thought was really good on his part, and what he's able to give you at the plate, I want to see a lot more Trenton Lyons back there.
Yeah, I mean, he went 1 for 3 last night, and his average went down. And
significantly.
So, right, yeah. But you're right. But what I liked to see him, or what I liked about seeing him behind the plate was his effort to at least block balls. Like he tried to block balls. Now, the one that I think you're talking about that Austin Simmons threw was like a 58-foot fastball, and he did all he could do, to keep that in front of him.
Got in front of it, knocked it down, and then his foot just kicked it.
Yeah, and I think, unfortunately, there were a couple of balls last night where guys took off running, and he may have tried to come up and throw it before he received it. And that may have happened there, but I would have loved to see him try to throw somebody out as well. But yeah, at this point, we're holding open auditions for catcher.
Yeah, and I don't think Trenton did anything to warrant not starting Thursday night against Arkansas. A switch hitter, so with Arkansas throwing Hagen Smith, that's not going to be that big of a deal. He'll just switch over, hit from the right side of the plate there, but. Talk about Udemark for a second, though. Like that's the guy that we've talked about for over a week now that's had really good plate appearances, and he just keeps it rolling here. 3 for 4 with 2 doubles, the one caught stealing. But overall, I thought he obviously played really well at the plate. I thought he was really good at first base, too. He seems to be a lot more athletic, bigger body over there to reel in these throws.
Yeah, and I mean – I think he got out his last at bat. It was the time he got out. So I mean, it was like seven straight at bats of him getting a hit or something. I mean, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're losing or gaining anything over there at first base with his defense versus Jackson Ross's, because I just didn't get to see much of it last night. But with the way that he's swinging the bat, you have to, and with his ceiling, or how high his ceiling is, you've got to think that he's going to be in the lineup this weekend.
Yeah, I would sure think so. And kind of to your point about not knowing what the difference is between him and Ross at first base because you haven't seen enough of it, one part of that is nothing jumped out to you last night, which in totality is a positive. There was nothing glaring there that made you go, oh, well, that's not an upgrade at first base. So I thought he handled it pretty well. A couple more guys, Jackson Ross, 2 for 5, 2 runs last night. And then, let's talk about this guy for a little bit because you've kind of started doing a little bit of digging on our guy, Ethan Leger. He goes 3 for 5, 2 RBIs, 3 doubles, and 2 or 3 0-2 counts, something like that.
Oh yeah, I don't know, 2 last night.
I know it was at least 2.
for a couple of weeks, I just keep thinking, I'm like, man, he is in so many 2-strike counts.
Yep.
But he never strikes out. He
never strikes out. Hasn't struck out in SEC play, right?
Yeah. In fact, the last strikeout I can find on the ledger is March the 12th, ULM, in the second inning. Since then, it's been like 50-something total at bats where, he hasn't struck out. But it feels like he is constantly in 2-strike counts. So I think, and I hope these numbers are right. I don't know. Maybe they're close. But I got a total of he's been in a 2-strike count 51 times this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's walked 7 times. That leaves 44 at bats. He's got 12 hits in those 2-strike counts. So he's hitting 270. He's only struck out 5 times. But if you dig just a little bit deeper, right, of those 51 at bats, 15 times he's been 0-2, right? At some point in the count, it's been 0-2. He's 5 for 13 for a 384 clip, 2 singles, 2 doubles, a bomb, and he's only struck out 2 times when he's been down 0-2, right? So the way that he handles the bat just is very impressive, and I think that it's something scouts and people at the next level are going to notice, that he never, ever strikes out.
Yeah, and what's in that with the 0-2 count, the bomb, I was trying to think back. I'm pretty sure that came off of Brody Breck against Iowa that Friday night.
Yeah, I didn't keep up with which at bats were which, because
I'm pretty sure that was it.
I was already maxing myself out just trying to put all this information together. It's just really incredible what he does with 2 strikes. You hear people say all the time, like, "Oh, this guy's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes," and he's not afraid to get behind in the count. And I mean, Ethan Leger is not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. In fact, put 2 strikes on the man as soon as he steps in the box, and let's just get those pitches out of the way. Yeah, let's get those 2 pitches out of the way, and then just let him cook. All right, let's let him cook then.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. I think he might even do it intentionally at this point. Just go up there and get 2 strikes, and then he kind of locks in a little bit. But Ethan's a lot different because, especially in this era of baseball, where a lot of people say that strikeouts don't matter, right? He would have been incredible back 15 years ago, where it's put the ball in play, like that kind of hitter. And he's just a guy you don't see come around very often that just absolutely doesn't strike out. He's going to put the bat on the ball. So that's obviously really nice to see. Glad he's a Rebel. And, the frustrating part about what's going on with Ole Miss right now is you look up and down this lineup, and you've got Ethan Groff, Jackson Ross, Ethan Leger, Andrew Fisher, Luke Hill, Trayson Hughes, Udermark, Lyons. And then you've got guys like Braden Randall and Will Furness over there. You've got hitters up and down the lineup. If they ever figure it out, this is a lineup that should be pretty dangerous. Let's flip over to the pitching side real quick. I was excited to see Wes Mendez. I thought he pitched pretty well to begin the game there. Did give up that 1 run in the first, but overall I was pretty impressed with him. Takuian comes in, inning in the third, 1 run, 3 strikeouts. Mason Morris, inning in the third, 1 strikeout, 2 runs on 2 hits. And then you get to Austin Simmons, which was probably the best performance of the year for him so far. 2 innings, 1 hit, no walk, 5 strikeouts. He's really blossoming as a potential left-handed weapon out of this bullpen for Ole Miss that already has so many.
Yeah, and I mean, and just the fact that he pitched 2 innings, just goes to show that he's not a left-handed specialist that Mike is going to use when a guy's, a left-handed batter is coming to the plate. He's got enough confidence in his stuff that he's going to use him for an inning at a time, 2 innings at a time, which is big.
Yeah. So, and then after that, it's they bring in Mitch Morrell, and he just didn't have it last night. 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. Didn't walk anybody, didn't strike anybody out either. They went up there looking for the slider. They got the slider. They hit the slider. That's basically what happened there with Mitch Morrell. Bring in Gunnar Dennis, and Gunnar is just really struggling. He's not missing really any bats right now. Only goes a third of an inning and gives up 2 runs himself. 1 walk, 1 strikeout. And then Braden Jones comes in, gets him out of that inning. Kyler Carmack comes in and throws a clean eighth inning there, 1 inning, 1 walk, no strikeouts, but no hits allowed. So it wasn't the best night for our bullpen, obviously. I'm sitting here looking, I know for a fact during the game, I guess they went back and changed it. They don't have an error on Luke Hill. That was the most egregious error I've seen in a long time for Luke. That ball was smoked about 100 miles an hour at least, and he caught the short hop, and it just handcuffed him. There was nothing he could do on that. Couldn't believe it when they come out and said that was an error by the official score there in Memphis. And then another one people were all up in arms about with Luke was when he went for the backhand there when the left-handed hitter shot it through the shortstop hole. And I don't know if they don't realize this or not. He was never going to make that play. With the left-hander up, they were running, so they were stealing. That's Luke Hill's job to get to second base to cover the bag for a potential throw out there. The left-handed hitter hits an oppo into his hole. He's having to regroup after running to second base, turn around, run back to shortstop, try to backhand that thing right there at the lip, and then try to make a play. That was going to be an incredibly tough play for him to make. I was impressed he actually got back enough to knock the ball down and keep the runners where they were at.
Yeah, I mean, that was the play at that point, was to keep it on the infield so that the runners didn't advance. But, yeah, I mean, running to cover second and then having to come back across your body, if you make that play, it's a great play. But keeping it on the infield is the play that you have to make. Now, the ball that was smoked at him and hopped up in his stomach, right? Again, if you make that play, it is a great play.
Incredible play.
And to be fair, he needs to make some of those great plays. Not every one of them, but he needs to make some of them. And at the same time, continue going at the plate because he is still just hitting things. I mean, he's still just hitting it on the nose. And I think that, he's got a little criticism because of some errors. And I think he's got some tough errors. But all it takes is for him to make a couple of great plays and everybody will come around and say, hey, yeah, no, this kid's got it. So that's why we're waiting on is for him to make a couple of those plays, Luke. You have to make a couple.
Yeah. It's all about confidence at this point, right? When something goes wrong, it can kind of snowball on you, but especially mentally every time something is hit at you. It's not just Luke, it's other guys on the defensive side for Ole Miss as well. I mean, you don't make 6 errors in a game without it snowballing on you like that. And that's kind of what's happened with this team defensively. So they need to focus on at least making the simple plays first and get that out of their minds, and then just get out there, play loose and play baseball because they're athletic enough and they're good enough to make these plays consistently.
Oh, for sure. And what you want to be sure that you're doing the entire time is stone facing it, right? It's not bothering you. This isn't bothering you in a way where I'm looking upset or it looks like I'm pouting or I'm crying about it, right? If it's affecting you, right, it's making you mad enough that you're going to make the next play. And so you just want to make sure that if you're going through a rough time in the field, hey, the next play that you make, pump your fist, right? Get fired up about it.
Yeah, and get fired up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Be your own hype man if you have to be. Luke, you don't have to be your own hype man. You've got Dids over here. He's happy to do that for you.
That's right.
For free.
All day.
Yeah, but just like Did says, make the routine plays, and then you're going to be fine. Yeah,
absolutely. So, again, didn't go Ole Miss's way. They're really spiraling right now. Lost 6 out of 7, I think, if I have that right. But huge opportunity for Ole Miss coming up this weekend, and these are opportunities Ole Miss needs, quite frankly, because they need to start getting some of these on the right track. We travel to Fayetteville, face number 1 Arkansas Razorbacks. They are 24-3 on the year, 8-1 in the SEC. They have an RPI of number 4. They are 20-1 at home so far this year and have won 18 straight heading into the series with the Rebels. Obviously, an incredibly talented club. They really, really pitch it hitch. We'll get to that here in just a second. I want to start on the other side of the ball with Arkansas. They've struggled hitting the ball a little bit. Yeah, they put up 13 runs against Arkansas State on Tuesday. But you look the 3-game set against LSU, they put up 18 runs altogether in 3 games, 7, 4, and 7. And then even go back to the Auburn series, and they put up a total of 12 runs in 4 games against them, winning 1-0, winning 6-5, and then losing 8-6. So it's an offense that if Ole Miss can figure something out against this elite pitching staff, and it is an elite pitching staff, I think. But if they can get, 5, 6, 7 runs, they give themselves a shot. And that's kind of why I think you saw Mike stay with his pitching rotation here with Riley Maddox on Thursday, and then Liam Doyle on Friday, and then to be determined on Saturday. I doubt it's going to be Gunnar Dennis there. Yeah. It's and it's TBD for Saturday. Yeah. Oh, okay. You were going to give your shot. Well, look, we can still guess that Saturday starter once we get to that point here a little bit later in the show. But look, Riley Maddox has been absolutely incredible for Ole Miss. Send him up there against an offense that hasn't, just been world beaters. They're not bad, but they don't scare anybody when they get up to the plate. I was going through their numbers with the SEC ranks so far this year. They are 10th in batting average, 10th in slugging, 11th in on base, 13th in runs, 13th in hits, 10th in home runs, 9th in walks, and 9th in stolen bases. They don't do a whole lot of things really well offensively. And if Riley Maddox can hold them down, maybe if Ole Miss gets back to that patient approach against a guy like Hagen Smith, maybe we're able to scrap a few across here and maybe even steal the game on Thursday night.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility that could happen.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I get. It's a possibility.
I don't think
you don't think so.
One. No, I mean
that's fair.
Hagen Smith is going to be probably the first pitcher off the board, if not the first player. When this June or July, whenever the draft is. And he's very good. We've seen him twice. He's pitched against us the past 2 years. And I think maybe last year or the year before we got to him a little bit for 4 runs or so, but the other time he was pretty dominant. I didn't look at the pitching, what Mike was going to do for pitching, because I was going to pitch you a way that I think we can steal the series, and it is Grayson Saunier on Thursday night, right?
Thursday,
the first game. He has been very good the first time through the order this year. Most of his troubles come after he's been through the order once, whether that's 2 innings or 3 innings, right? So if you get 2-3 innings out of Grayson Saunier, and the reason I say him is because I think that he has very good control. He's going to throw it in the strike zone, doesn't walk a lot of batters. And this Arkansas team is going to be they're pest-like. They're going to be worse than Kentucky when it comes to this, I think. And they don't swing at borderline pitches. They don't strike out a lot, but they do walk a lot. And so Saunier keep it in the zone. But then you could bridge Saunier to Mallets, right, and then to Morrell or Nichols, Braden Jones on to Connor Spencer. Whatever you do there.
However you
do.
That would kind of depend how the start's going for Saunier too, if you're going to use your bullets or not.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm not saying use him as a starter for sure or an opener for sure, right? But once he goes through the lineup, he gets one more base runner, and that's it. We pull him after that. But then you can bridge the gap to the end of the game. The way that Mike set it up by doing the way he did last night with guys going 1 inning, 2 innings, very short. Austin Simmons went 2 innings. He threw the most pitches, but everybody after that threw less than 15 pitches, I think. So you could do anything with your bullpen. So you try to steal that game on Friday night. If you do get some runs against Hagen Smith, a couple of runs, your great bullpen keeps Arkansas, who doesn't hit a lot of home runs, don't hit a lot of doubles, don't hit a lot of extra base hits, keep them at bay. You steal that game on Friday night, and now you've got your two bullets, Liam Doyle, Riley Maddox, to go after, I think Molina and the other kid that they're going to start on Sunday. Tiger. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like it, but that's probably not the way it's going to play out.
No.
You run the risk of burning your bullpen on Friday night, right? And
that's the problem.
I get the risk.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Risk,
but at the same time, you're really at risk burning them anyway. If Maddox isn't as effective as he has been and all that, I mean, it's really a coin toss as far as how you can play it. But
I think
I don't mind him doing it the way he did.
I think let me how I want to word this. I think Hagen Smith gives Arkansas the best opportunity to beat Ole Miss, and I think that Riley Maddox gives Ole Miss the best chance of beating Arkansas. Right? So why put them head to head if you can offset that? Right? That's not to say I don't think that Liam Doyle is going to be successful against them too, but I think that Riley Maddox, the way he pitches, Arkansas is going to have a very tough – it's going to be like us against A.J. Causey that night against Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think the way that the ball dives into the right-handed hitters and stuff, and I think they're going to have a tough time getting they may sprinkle a few hits here and there, but I don't think that they're going to be able to get a bunch of extra base hits and score a bunch of runs. So I just think Riley Maddox gives us our best chance of beating Arkansas this weekend. Don't put him up against the best pitcher in the country.
Yeah. No, I totally get that line of thinking. But I do agree. I think Riley Maddox really matches up well with this Arkansas lineup, particularly with that sinker. As long as he keeps it down like he's been doing the last few weeks, they're just going to sit there and pound it into the ground. And that's where your defense has to step up and get out of their own way and start making the routine plays that they're fully capable of making. So I think we're going to find out early in this series on Thursday if this defense has kind of turned a corner and kind of put all of those hiccups behind them more or less. But kind of looking at Hagen Smith here, though, he's been unreal. 5-0, 154 ERA. He's allowed 16 hits in 35 innings. And he has 72 strikeouts and 10 walks to 35 innings.
72 strikeouts.
72.
That's 2 strikeouts an inning.
Yes. So K per 9 somewhere north of 18. It's not bad.
I don't like it.
No, I don't like it either.
Be worse.
136 opponent batting average. He's just been absolutely dynamic. And then we get Molina on Friday night. He's 3-0 with a 3 ERA, which is the highest on their weekend staff. 54 strikeouts to 18 walks in 33 innings. So maybe we're able to draw some walks off of him, get some base runners there. But still an electric arm with a 171 opponent batting average. And then Brady Tiger's another. We've seen him.
Branch, I think.
251 ERA, 42 strikeouts, 16 walks in 32 innings. 10 hit by pitches though. So maybe we can generate base runners off him again. Thursday night's going to be an absolute grind. If that's not your kind of baseball game, then you may just not want to tune in for that one because it's going to be hell on wheels dealing with Hagen Smith. But again, I just really like Riley Maddox there.
He's the only way that Hagen Smith, is beatable is you have to be patient, right? He's got 3 pitches, I guess probably maybe 4 pitches. He has a slider / cutter. He's got a slider that he'll throw at like 82 or 85, and he'll ramp it up a little bit to 91, maybe more cutter action. And fastball, he'll run it up there pretty close to triple digits, not quite, but stays 92, 93. I think if we can be
And it's
patient
really
and
good
not
when he
swing,
elevates it. That's what he's so good at, is elevating that
Well, it's
fastball.
the same thing. It's the same thing, right? He has the same kind of arsenal and the same kind of mentality as Liam Doyle. He's trying to attack you at the letters with the hard stuff, and he's got a slider, cutter, splitter that he's trying to drop down below the zone. And so that splitter is, I think, where he gets into trouble. If he does ever get into trouble, he doesn't control it real well. And so I think if we can lay off the borderline pitches and make him locate that splitter, wait for him to get it up, maybe, somebody runs into one and we can put up a crooked number on him and steal that game Friday night.
Yeah. Well, that would be Thursday night, but yeah, your point still stands. Point still stands. So one of the more impressive stats I came across while looking at this Arkansas pitching staff, I knew it was the best in the country. I knew they were elite. But looking at where they rank in the SEC, obviously they're number one in runs allowed and ERA. The thing that stood out to me with runs allowed, they're number one in the SEC. They've only allowed 73 runs all year this year. Second is Texas A&M with 108. They have allowed 35 less runs than the number two team in the SEC. And the SEC is probably as good as it's ever been, and they're still dominating to that level. I just thought that was really, really impressive to only give up 73 runs so far this year going into this weekend. And like I said, they've won 18 straight at home. Just an incredible team. One hell of a challenge for the Rebels. But more than anything, it's not only a challenge, it's an opportunity. That's the way we have to look at it. This is a chance to really get the season back on the right track. You talk about momentum. You don't think it would be a momentum changer to take two in Fayetteville this weekend?
Yeah. Hey, look, you want to know what I noticed when I started looking at the Arkansas pitching staff, their numbers? I started noticing I don't know that they played anybody that I would consider all that great. In what they played. Well, James Madison, they're all right. They played Oregon State. They're good. They can hit.
Oregon State, lost to Oklahoma State 2-1.
Their three SEC series was Auburn, Missouri, and LSU. You hear LSU and you think, oh, national champions last year, they're really good. They're 1-8 in the SEC right now, so they're really scuffling. I'm not saying that Arkansas is bad. Please don't get that twisted.
No.
What I'm saying is that this might be the best competition that the Arkansas pitching staff has faced when it comes from a 1 through 9 in the lineup. And I'm going to say it right now. I think we go to Arkansas. We take this series because we have to take this series.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, there's no way around it. You have to take the series. It's going to be tough as hell, obviously, and we've got to overcome some
mental
hurdles, but we've got to get this ship going back in the right direction, because if you go Lord, if you end up getting swept in Fayetteville, then you're looking at Mississippi State at home, who you haven't won a series against since 2014. You go to Georgia that just bashes the ball. Alabama at home. We've done the schedule a couple times already. It doesn't get any easier. So I'm with you. I think the Rebels go on the road and they start turning things around here, and they shock a lot of people. Take two in Fayetteville and get this thing headed back in the right direction.
Yeah, I think Mike had a come to Jesus meeting last night. I think that they understand. And look, I realize Arkansas is the number one team in the country, and so people see that and they're like, "Oh, they're really good." And don't get me wrong, they are very good. But if you ask me who I would rather face right now, Mississippi State, Georgia, or Arkansas, it's Arkansas, because I don't think that their offense is going to be able to hold up to our pitching staff, and I think that our offense can get to their staff.
I certainly hope so. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Again, this is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. It's not your Friday through Sunday. It's Thursday through Saturday. Go ahead, Hitch.
No, well, one other thing that I noticed when I started looking at Arkansas is they don't strike out much. So we can't nibble, right? When we're behind in the count, we have to throw it over the plate. They're not going to hit it out of the park. right? But we can't nibble because they will get base runners on, and then Kendall Diggs will hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
But also they're bad at the run game. They've only thrown out. They've thrown out 4. I had it written down here, but I think they've only thrown out 4 out of 23 base runners.
Okay.
And so we've only been thrown out 5 times. We're 38 out of 43. I think that you're probably going to see us run a little bit more than you normally would because of that. And so I think that's a big deal, because if we get guys on early in the inning, we can, steal second, bunt to third, bunt to second, steal third, something like that. And we don't have to rely on those 2-out hits, right? We're trying to manufacture runs before we get to 2 outs. And so I think that the run game could be big this weekend for us. So look for guys like Braden Randall, Luke Keel, Trayson Hughes, all these guys that have blood stolen bases.
Yeah.
When they get on
Ethan
base,
Brawl.
Yep. When they get on base, look for them to run.
Yeah. I think that's a good point you brought up there. Because Ole Miss is a team that's definitely not scared to run. We've shown that throughout the year so far. They're not scared to put people in motion, put a little pressure on you. And again, going into Fayetteville and playing a team like Arkansas, you got to pull out all the stops and do whatever you can to try to generate some offense against this pitching staff. So that'll be really interesting to see if they do end up running a good bit, try to get things at least a little chaotic on the base pass, and that can also help throw the pitcher off a little bit too if he's sitting there thinking about the running game. We saw that for an entire 3 games in Oxford this past weekend.
Absolutely. You can see what it does when you start dancing out there on the bases and you start, taking off and the pitcher gets distracted by it, or even like we saw last night against Memphis, right? A guy takes off and a guy puts the ball perfectly where Luke Hill was. It would have been a double play, but instead it's Luke Hill hit. And so when you put that pressure on guys, it's tough.
Yeah. So we'll see how it all plays out, though. But again, this starts Thursday night in Fayetteville. Thursday, Friday, Saturday game. And obviously, me and Hitch will be tuned in, cheering on the Rebs. And we will, after the series, I don't know if we'll do it Saturday night or Sunday sometime. We'll come back on here and we'll recap this thing for y'all. And hopefully we'll be talking about 2
sweep.
Oh, shit. Here we go. Okay, yeah. Series sweep now. If we take 2, I'll be grinning ear to ear on this show, though. So if you give me 2, I'll be tickled to death. If you give me 3, then we'll probably record a show that'll never get posted because it'll be way too vulgar at that point.
Extremely vulgar. Yeah. Except I'll be the one that's getting vulgar, and Dids will be the one having to calm me down.
No, that ain't never going to happen. Never going to happen with the Rebels. So, but Hitch, I appreciate you joining me again this week, bud. Enjoy talking about it.
Enjoy it, man.
We'll do this again in a few days. Hopefully talking about a Rebel win.
All right. I'll talk at you later, man. Hotty toddy.
Hi, toddy, bud.